them that to 35%. I think it's more about perception, only more serious not. I think about more perception. When I put a slide on the global distribution of some world funds throughout the world, I found that it's not the first of its kind. It's maybe because we're led to do it as a country that people never understood what is a sovereign wealth fund, but it really has this public interest. I want to thank you for organizing this public lecture, this discourse, this interview, because what it does, it also increases the knowledge, it improves or reduces that perception, to make it not be there. And the best way for them to benefit is number one, when they see air is not flying, they know that Mutapa is working. When they see that ZESA is done very well for the past 40 days, no power, no shedding, they know that Mutapa is working well. In fact, I'm also very happy that, and I want to thank Governor and the Minister for Tourism for appointing one of our executives to become the CEO of ZCL, Dr. Maya. Congratulations. So we want to see, they say before, what is good to show myself. So when the ZESA is not institutional state, when ESO is flying, when NRZ is moving, when we have got money to fend for ourselves, we that Mutapa is working. So those ones who were for 50%, who were not aware, it's not a challenge. There's a time to catch up in the time of which now. So we're happy that things are starting to change. Thank you.
Thank you. I know you spoke about this earlier on in terms of governance and transparency, but it's one of the questions that keeps popping up in terms of the narrative that is out there. People questioning the numbers, people even questioning to say, are those assets worth 16 billion really? So my question is, how are you ensuring that the fund is transparent and follows global rules to investors and to ensure and to assure investors and citizens that they can trust the numbers that will be shared by Mutapa? You have released an annual report. What assurance can you give those who still question those numbers?
In terms of corporate governance, the first thing, there is always management, risk management, and public control. That's the way we all come into business. As management, we do operations. Risk management compliance officers, they do the risk management. They provide the secondary role of defense. Then the third, they are quality assurance, which is basically the auditors, both internal and external. Now, when you do work, like in the case of Mutapa, this was our inaugural financial statements, which statements we did not ask for doing value ourselves. We employed third parties, we employed to accounting firms to do valuations of all these entities over and above the management of those entities, and the work that was publicized also went through the audit, which is giving you quite assurance. Now, if those people who are questioning the numbers, they can also employ them. Because as a fund, our strategy, the whole operation is that we mainly outsource our consultants or our service providers. So we believe in lean institution and outsource the contractors or service providers. Now, those people who are questioning the numbers, they can also apply to come and become our consultants or to come and become our service providers. Since they know better than the people who have not us, but those other people who have done that work for us. So we have no problem. They can apply, and we definitely assist them and give them an assignment. And to see, I think they will now be closer to the publicly and say that we're given the job, and they came up with the same conclusion. The problem that people who are always complaining, they never complain, they never come out. Our offices are open for discussion. They feel free. I've got an open door policy. No one is too important or too small to come and ask us. But we like to discuss. When they give us that information, it nourishes our mind as opposed to make us angry. I'm happy with those contributions. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc. Moving on, earlier on you spoke about strategic initiatives that the fund is taking. And before some of these entities were put under Mutapa, some of them had already announced that they will probably be listing on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange or the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange. And I understand NGS2 also speaks about some of these entities listing. Maybe if you can tell us how far you have gone and maybe if that is still the strategy to have some of them listing on our stock markets.
Definitely, we do believe that the best value for any entity can be derived from the stock exchange, whereby the shares are floated and with a fair value of what is easier to value companies and they are listed. And that is to our strategy. We only go to the stock exchange when the time is right and time is right well for us to be able to do that. We never remove the appetite of the entities that want to go to the stock exchange. At the very best, we complement what we're doing. If they are going inside, it's only the speed that we are saying that no, this is supposed to go at 10 km per hour, why do we 20 km per hour? So we never change those ones. I know those ones which we had to do so, and they are still open to do so. And just like if you Koto, the major issue that is there is about governance issues, and we are working on trying to do. It was a stock exchange is a company, still was suspension because of governance issues. So many of them, you can't just go to the stock exchange overnight. We need to fix. So in our fixed strategy, it means that we need to fix those parameters that we need to fix before just going to the stock exchange. So it's a process.
Thank you. Earlier on, when you were talking about some of the entities that you own, CBZ is one of them where I think you said 17% or thereabouts. They were in Davos recently, and they were one of the things that the CEO said was that they are looking at becoming a $2 billion bank, and so that they can go into the region. But Mutapa, you own quite a number of financial services companies. Are there any possibilities that you would actually merge them so that we can have that big bank from Zimbabwe that can do what the likes of Eco banks are doing here, the likes of Stanbic, regional banks that are coming to Zimbabwe? And
consolidation, mergers, and acquisitions is a process. For now, we don't have that strategy of merging any of our entities which are in the banking sector. If you look at CBC, it's a commercial bank, they've got a different market. If you look at AFC, it's agricultural financial information, it's concentrated more on agriculture. What we're going to be doing right now is the likes of, to say, where do you place homework, for example. There's a void in this economy of mortgages. This economy can not provide enough mortgages. I think it's underbanked in that area. So when you look at HomeLink, POSB, you now say to yourself, what is the best product that we will give to the people of Zimbabwe in the form of mortgages, so that we have more development and taking place in this country. So apart from measures, we're saying how do we restructure, how do we get better value from the existing companies, in which areas we consolidate. So we are more not on the merging, but on the consolidation.
Thank you. Very soon I'm going to be opening the floor for questions from the audience. So if my team can also then make sure that we've got roving mics. Dr. Mangudya, earlier on you spoke about you gave examples of other sovereign wealth funds, like for example the one in Norway. Are there any plans that we could also see Mutapa investing in offshore assets, and or the strategies to remain investing in Zimbabwe?
Thank you. The Act allows us to invest outside the country. The principles are that we need to sweat the asset. get money, get dividends, then when you go to surpluses, you then invest. You cannot start by investing offshore before we make the entities under Mutapa. Okay, in other words, if you get a fund from an entity or in Mutapa, when you got a side of food, that requires 2 million for them to procure maize, to produce maize meal. You rather use that money to a country, to one of the entities. If you look at the Boston metrics that I've given you, those dogs, whether they're small or big, the question marks need to be dealt with. When everyone is now satisfied within the group, we now go out and look for. But we can also be simultaneous. If you get a good asset, that you do believe that it can produce better results, you can also invest in the get the money harvest and put it back into the economy. So yes, so that is yes, the economy is that, and we are still in the infant stage where we are still looking at all these options. Thank you.
My last question, you spoke about dogs, those that you are looking at fixing. Maybe if you can pick one or two and tell us what plans you have for those dogs. Are you going to throw some balls at them or real meat?
We are going to throw real meat for them. If you look at NRZ, we need to fix, first of all, to ensure that there's a CEO which is in the process of being appointed in the CEO. The next thing at NRZ, as I said earlier, we need the locomotives. A locomotive takes about 6 to 8 to 9 months, just like an aircraft. If you put order today, you get it after about 18 months from today. So you are saying if you want to fly or if you want to move on the freight, on the rail, what do you do now? You need to have short-term measures, which means you need to lease or to hire the locomotive, or you need to fix the one that are there and then work. So we're doing refurbishment, hiring, so that was what you want. The objective is to ensure that the freight moves from one place to the other. That will take freight from Manize to Chukwalabara to Maputo. But there is no link between Manize and Mvuma. Putting a line between Manize and Mvuma won't take a day. So it means that you need to ensure that you go with some trucks that move the load from Manize to Mvuma. Mvuma into the train, and then go to, then you need now one locomotive to carry all that, and you now use the line that made the corridor that's more profitable, is the one that goes through Chukwalabara to Maputo, because you have more wagons that will be pulling that go to Beira. Beira using fewer because of hilly area, and therefore because of environment. So you have less wagons. So that is a job that we are trying to fit. So it can move the freight, can move passengers, and therefore it means that we need to make them. So we are doing that. No, are we throwing bonds? No. We are throwing to them good money so that they can find the best value of locomotives and weapons to go for.
Our roads are port interested, and one of the reasons is that because trucks, we have got trucks transporting coal, transporting chrome on our roads. If I'm going to put you on the spot, if you are to promise Zimbabweans, when do you think you would have fixed NRZ?
It's a process. When we saw, I always like this question. I like the agents that Zimbabweans have got. I'm also a Zimbabwean, and I like that agency. But when something has been going down for a long period of time, NRZ used to be in the peak, moving 18 million tons of freight in a year. They've gone down to about 1 million, 1.2 million. We all saw them going down. We don't make the same noise. Now that we are now moving right now we are going towards 3.1 this year, which means we need the low bottom. So we are not going now. But we won't take it as long as we did to go down. But we are going to take shortcut. So within that's why we do short term, medium term, long term. Now medium term is 3 years, 3 to 5 years. So in the 3 to 5 years, we expect NRZ to be at least 50% of their capacity which was there before. And then within the next 10 years, then we are going back to the resource. Why are we doing that? Because we do not also want to overborrow. We have the white elephant of who can overnight make a NRZ, a Rolls-Royce, new 35 locomotives, 40 locomotives, 5,000 wagons can be done. But at what cost? Immediately, the proof of concept, proof of business, proof of concept, where the business now there. And then we then say to truckers, let's now to use the trucks. All these trucks, they also get a business when the NRZ is moved, because they now become aggregators of the load into NRZ. So we are saying medium, in the short term, we're hiring, we're repairing, so we can move. Medium term, purchasing the locomotives, but not as many as we need now for now, maybe 50% of requirements, maybe 10 locomotives within the medium term to make our fleet become about 20, and if we go towards another 20 after 95 years. It's a journey. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions from the floor, Linda.
All right, allow me, Kudzayi, to acknowledge our other sponsors as our mics begin to move. We have made this public lecture possible. The Export Credit Guarantee Corporation of Zimbabwe, Home Link, and Air Zimbabwe. We appreciate your support towards this public lecture. So our mics are roving. Please do kindly stand, introduce yourself, and pose your question. The mics are rolling. But maybe just to begin with, Dr. Mangudya, as our mics go to our delegates, concerns have been raised around clarity in distinction of roles between MIF and the parent ministries that the entities fall under. Say, for instance, ZUPCO falls under the Ministry of Local Government and Public Works, and its board members, for instance. Is there clarity in the distinction of roles between the MIF and the parent ministries of those entities?
Very good question, insightful, just like the other ones. This person always come to us, or to me in particular. Very simple. Maybe because I take things in a very simple manner. I was born very simple. And our life is very simple. You know, all of us, we got one day of death, one day of death, all of us. So I always take it very simple. And the simple answer to that is that we are very clear ourselves as Mutapa of our role as managers, as implementers of government policy, as the ones who are in charge of the monitoring the entities under Mutapa. The role of line ministers in the ministries is that of policy and regulatory. If tomorrow, for example, the last question that was asked here, if tomorrow we want to reduce the number of trucks on our roads, and now that they use now rail, it requires a statutory instrument, for example, that regulatory. Mutapa does not do statutory instruments. It means I will now go to the line minister and ask him to facilitate that there shall be a statutory instrument to increase the either value or volume of items that will go through the rail. That becomes the line minister's job. Policy, when they say that we are going to create another, say, pipeline of fuel, that's because that's government. Again, it's G2G, government Mozambique and government Zimbabwe. Those are ministers. But when the government is now there, the day-to-day responsibility of managing those companies is vested in Mutapa on their behalf. So it's about a maker-checker principle. From a baby perspective, it's called the segregation of duty. The executive, they make the policies, regulatory. The management, ourselves, we manage. This idea of whereby one makes the policy, manages it, whatever it is, that's what we call governance. When I was saying that in this economy, the major missing link is governance. And it's like Professor Nakama here, become the vice chancellor, it's also the lecturer, it's also the student. You know, there should be some separation. We are designing the future to continue.
You spoke and person in other entities where we have PC, including telesale. I see the need for something like merging some of the companies. For instance, you've got telesale that is not performing well, and then you've got network that also faces a few challenges here and there. Is there no need to streamline and merge those companies like you indicated that you will do with ZESA? My other question is on you are making reference to your first statement of financial accounts and audited report, annual report and the first set of audited accounts that you published not so long ago. You indicated in that report that you intend to raise 10 billion. When is this fund expected to be raised from, and what sort of time frame are you looking at in terms of raising those resources? The other question is, I think you've made reference to it when you were speaking about the role of ministries being to develop policy, and your role being to manage entities and Mutapa. But we still hear about possible challenges like interference and resistance from ministries. How far have you gone in terms of addressing these challenges? Because I see, if those things happen or continue to happen, it actually may affect your success in turning around those governments. And then you also spoke about fixing in
Sorry, Gordon, we'll allow you to ask the ones that you have already asked so that we can give others a chance. Thank you.
Sure.
And those who are going to be asking questions, please, let's stick to one person. There are 300 of us in here, so we want to give everyone a chance. So let's just stick to one person, straight to the point.